identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Listen. You can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Thursday afternoon to you. Yes, it is time for the McFarland Show for the next 2 hours here on WNSR. We're live here at Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studio today. Tomorrow we'll be live at Strike and Spare.
At Strike and Spare itself.
Tusculum Lanes, right down the road, about a couple miles down the road.
Broadcasting live there.
On Nolensville Road.
In the middle of the boating aisle, right there
Yes.
in aisle 3 or 4, we'll set up a table.
I hope we're on a lane. That'd be cool.
Right there on the lane.
Like, Justin, watch out. Lift up your feet.
Let the ball just flying right underneath the table legs. It'll be
That would be cool.
Extra trick shot there.
I mean, you want sound effects?
Give some additional points there for
you
that.
You want Radioland to feel like we're at a bowling alley?
In the
then
middle of the action.
Set us up on a lane.
Here we go. That'll be interesting.
Or don't.
Actually, it's probably a bad
Probably
idea.
not a great idea.
Nah, think about it.
It
No,
was
don't
was
do
fun
that.
to talk
Nah,
about
think
it for a
about it. Let's
minute.
not do that.
It's kind of fun for a minute.
We're not going to do that.
We got another great show in store for you. Casey Alexander. We'll head over to campus of Belmont. Well, Bruins have gotten hot here lately. We'll talk to their head coach, Casey Alexander, coming up in about 15 minutes. Second hour, we'll get things started in St. Louis. We'll check in with Emma Lincoln, who's covering the Preds beat writer, covering tonight's game. Preds in St. Louis to take on the Blues.
One of Emma's favorite spots, by the way. When I've asked her about arenas in the past, she's mentioned this one in St. Louis in particular as
really
being a little different on the list there.
Oh,
so
a little different in what way?
And not the most glowing way.
Oh, okay, that's what I was saying. Like, really? Oh, I've been there many times. I'm
yeah,
like,
not
really.
the most glowing.
Their
their
Wi-Fi sucks.
Sarcasm there.
Okay. I wasn't picking up on that. My bad.
No problem. As far as Emma's trip to St. Louis and the trip to the arena there,
they've done some renovating. I know they've pumped some money into it. Finally, I'm trying to think if I've been there since they did all that. I'm not sure. I know. When I was going, let's just say pre-renovation and pumping money into it, they had old signs still up. You know,
from the Kill Center.
Yeah, welcome to the Kill Center. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that was like 3 names ago.
Yeah.
Welcome to Scott Trade Center this way with an arrow.
Trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Enterprise now.
Mm.
So, I mean, yeah, they've just
Yeah.
And like I said, the Wi-Fi was awful. Wi-Fi sucked.
Well,
You can't do that today. Like
Yeah.
today, like people want to be able to use their phones. They
Yeah.
just do. So you kind of need good Wi-Fi.
got to make that happen.
Yeah. So this will be the last road game in the month of January. They'll close out the
Okay.
month at home. They have L.A. on Saturday at Bridgestone, and then Winnipeg and New Jersey next week to close things out.
Right.
And then they'll kick off the month of February at home as well. So big game tonight in St. Louis. So we'll talk to Emma coming up at 3 o'clock. It looks like the Titans are set to swear in their new general manager tomorrow. Ran Carthen.
Yes.
At noon.
Looking forward to it. I
So-
know a lot of Titans fans are looking forward. Everybody, this is a highly anticipated press conference here. And, I just want to, if we can't temper the expectations here, this gentleman is not going to have answers tomorrow at noon about everything. I know we want him to.
Really?
Really?
Well, that stinks.
Really, he's not. He's not going to have. I think I just want to tell everybody pump the brakes. So if we're looking, for him to get up there with the roster, with the 53-man roster tomorrow, and just go, okay, here's what we're going to do. That's not going to happen tomorrow. But I think some fans are looking for that at this point, because the expectations or the I'm tired of waiting, let's call it that way, is very high right now in this town as far as the fan base is concerned. So they want results right away. Great, he's here. Where is George Kittle? He's not. Why isn't George Kittle coming with him? No, George Kittle's not. Why not? We got. Well, okay, we have to wait to the draft for George Kittle. Fine, he'll draft George Kittle in the draft coming up here soon. No, everybody's got to let this man work a little bit. It's going to be a process here.
It will. So they'll have that tomorrow at noon. We'll have a healthy portion of that tomorrow on the show.
Oh, yeah.
It'll probably go pretty long. I'm being told that Amy Adams Strunk will be there in attendance. The question is in what capacity? Will she just say, hey, we want to welcome in our newest addition, Mr. Collaborator, Ran Carthen from the San Francisco 49ers, the new general manager of the Titans. What'd you say yesterday?
Go Titans.
Go Titans. And then
or tighten up.
Or tighten up.
Whichever she would
And then
prefer.
she exits stage left.
And stands from the sideline and watches with glee, and just watches and is very thankful.
Or will she actually be up at the table and stay there and actually receive a question or two or three?
That's
My guess is probably
not really
not.
That's not really something she's done in the past.
No, it's not.
So I don't know why tomorrow would be very different, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe she's allowed room to grow as an owner as well. So if she's ready to take that next step and do that, then I think the fan base and the media would welcome her to do that if that's what she wants to do. But at this point, she's shown no indication of being willing to do such things.
No.
So I don't know why tomorrow will be different, but if it is, that'll be fantastic.
Yeah, if I'm putting money, I would say no. Probably not. Because why would it change tomorrow?
I don't know.
Unless she just literally woke up and said, you know what, today's the day. Today's the day I'm not going to do the canned interview.
When you're the owner, today can always be the day.
True.
So,
as I've said before, if she just is never going to be comfortable in that position, in that role, that's fine. I just plead to her and the folks over there, get somebody in place who can. Okay, when big things happen, someone needs to be at a podium representing your organization, not the head coach. Okay? Mike Vrabel should not have done that press conference after John Robinson. It put him in a bad spot. Head coach doesn't need to be fielded. It wasn't the head coach's decision. It was a decision above him. Have somebody in place. I mean, again, as I've said before, when we talked about this, I'm Burke Nihill is in place. Last time I checked, he came on this show.
Team president.
He's well-spoken and
very much
seems
so.
like a very smart man, and I feel like he can handle that stuff. And if it's not, then if you guys don't feel that way, then get somebody who can, okay, and have somebody that can regularly speak when things are tough. Somebody's got to talk for the organization. It can't be the head coach.
I think they were feeling some kind of way because they were still in the middle of the season at that point. And, again, I looked at, what has happened in years past with other organizations when they put their team president up there who doesn't know anything about football in the middle of a situation where all the questions are about football. And it typically doesn't go very well because the guy sitting up there has got no answers. So, which player or what draft was it that put you over the top as far as letting him go? What do you want Burke Nihill to say to that? Was it the A.J. Brown trade that put him over the top, Burke? What do you want him to say?
Well, somebody had to be in the process.
What do you mean, had to be in the process?
What did Amy Adams Strunk just wake up that morning and text everybody and said, John Robinson's out? And they're like,
no.
Dang, okay. Thanks for the text. Didn't realize. And everybody was just in the dark, like nobody knew.
I understand.
Nobody can talk.
I'm just saying that team presidents, traditionally in the National Football League, do not answer football on the field questions. They typically don't. That's typically not their role or what they do. So if you want to put Burke Nihill up there, and when the questions are going to be about personnel, then I don't know what you want him to say or what he's going to say that's going to be just as equally as frustrating as him not being up there at all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's not going to say, well, the Caleb Farley thing was really a bridge too far for us. Yeah. The Isaiah Wilson thing, when he drafted Isaiah Wilson and that didn't work out, I threw things against the wall.
Right.
And then I walked down to Amy's office and told him, this guy's got to go. He's not going to say that. I mean, that'd be great.
That would be unbelievable.
But he's not going to say that. Even if he felt that way, even if that's what actually happened, there is a line in the building, and you know this, between team operations off the field and stuff that happens on the field unless you're Jerry Jones or Al Davis.
Well, you had to name someone to replace the guy you were fired. So Ryan Cowden was that guy. If you felt good enough for him to be the interim, isn't he good enough to stand up at a podium?
Well, now you're going to ask him the same questions. Well, Ryan, how involved were you with Isaiah Wilson? How involved were you with Caleb Farley?
How is it any more fair for Mike Vrabel?
How involved were you with the bringing in of, Jadeveon Clowney and whoever else that didn't work out? How involved were you? No, I'm not saying they were.
I thought they were.
We don't know. No,
well,
we
don't.
We
You're
don't
right,
know.
we don't know.
So you put him up there, you ask him the question, and now he's got to figure out, how exactly, all those decisions were up to John. I had nothing to do with that at all. Well, he's not going to say that. Yeah. Well, I guess he could.
I mean, I guess unless Vrabel and Robinson were the ones running the show, like they were doing everything, then I guess maybe
I'm sure they had input.
Then I guess it's fair to have Vrabel up there.
But we don't know how the thing was running. We don't. We don't know how it was running exactly, who was making final decisions, who was giving input, who was standing on the table for certain people. And you're going to put him in a situation was like, listen, I didn't want to draft, Isaiah Wilson. He did. That was all on him. I told him not to do it. And he handed the card to the commissioner anyway. And here we are. I mean, I don't know. Again, you're putting these folks in, I think, next to impossible situations to try and either you're going to put a team president guy up there who's not going to be able to answer the questions at all, or you're going to put a guy up there who is actually in the room who isn't really going to want to answer the questions and wouldn't benefit the organization for him to answer those questions at that particular moment.
Yeah, Justin, I'm just saying they're $1 billion business.
They are.
It's the National Football League.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most watched sport in the country, and you fire a general manager. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
It's big news. It's not just local news.
No.
It's national news.
No.
It's big. It's a big ticket item. It's a big news item.
Well,
and you don't have anybody that can talk. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Like,
I do know what you're saying.
Somebody's got to represent the franchise. And look, this kind of goes along the lines of calls we've fielded on this show, like about the Predators when it comes to like who's deciding general manager stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, I understand that's kind of what you're. what you're saying again. We don't know the dynamics. How involved was Austin Ford? How involved was Calvin? How much is Burke Nihil in that whole process? I don't know.
You don't know.
None of us know.
But we never know. That's the thing.
But
we didn't
somebody's
know
gotta
under
talk.
the last regime either. We never know.
Yeah.
How involved was Rustin? Who in the Rustin Webster years? Who drafted? I don't know. And before that, who drafted the?
Yeah, but they had. But I'll be the first to admit what you're saying is true, because they did have press conferences when they relieved those general managers of their duties.
Yeah.
And they had basically the team lawyer at the press conference.
Yeah.
And he had no idea.
He had
no clue.
So Steve Underwood at the time.
Steve Underwood.
Sitting up there, and they're asking Steve, okay, so Steve, Jack Conklin or whoever it was at the time, I'm trying to remember back to the first, Chance Warmack. Steve, Chance Warmack wasn't quite the pick you thought he would be. How big of him not working out came into your decision today to let him go? What is he going to say? Chance Warmack, he's a big man from Alabama. He came in and underperformed for our system, and therefore, he's not going to say that.
Well, he's a smart man. He's an attorney. He had been doing it for the Adams family for decades and decades and decades and decades. He's just a guy that's just a not out in front guy. He just isn't. He's a guy that wants to be behind closed doors. He's a guy that wants to be lurking in the back, not out in front.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason he didn't excel at being put there at the podium, because that's not him. He never operated that way, which I still kind of question. Well, then why is he the team president? Because he doesn't like to be out anywhere.
Because he's highly trusted, and
from the family.
He's highly trusted of the family, and he was the best person at the time to go out and do that kind of a thing. That's all. I mean, and again, trust me, and I understand what you're saying. I really do. I don't think you really want Burke Nihil out there along with Coach Vrabel trying to answer questions about bad draft picks and bad free agent signings. It's not going to satisfy people as much as they might think, because what they're going to say is going to infuriate you even more as a fan base, because they're going to give short, incomplete answers. They are. That's what they are going to do. Well, we felt good and positive about him at the time, and obviously it didn't work out. Next question.
There was some other Titans news today. They've learned that they've got a home game in London next year. Or they've got a game.
They've got a game in London.
They've got a game in London.
They've got one less game at Nissan Stadium than they would have had,
because
they're going to London.
They're going 8 home, 8 away, and then a London game.
Yeah. Which, happens to every franchise at some point. So, it's just the Titans' turn this time.
Well, they've been there.
Yes, they have.
They've already lost to the Chargers there. So.
I think last time they were the road team there in London. I don't think they lost a home game. I could be mistaken with that.
I don't remember. That's been, 4 years ago?
4 or 5 years ago, yeah.
The Chargers game. So Buffalo will play a game in London next year. The Titans will play a game in London. The Chiefs and the Patriots will play in Germany next year.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacksonville will play in London at Wembley Stadium.
So here are the Titans' home opponents for 23, in case anybody is interested. Of course, they've got the division opponents, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, and Houston. Outside of that, they have got Baltimore, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Carolina, the Chargers, and the Seahawks, all scheduled to come to Nashville. One of those teams will go to London.
Interesting.
Not sure which one.
Okay, a lot of news going on. We'll continue that a little bit later, but when we come back, we'll head over to the campus at Belmont. We'll talk to their head coach, Casey Alexander. We'll do that next.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling minigame. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nashville area attorneys. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189 or online at richardcourtney.com.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
I have not met you, Andrew, but I'd love to meet you someday.
Yes, sir.
What story do you want to tell him, Clay? Oh, about how you got ejected?
Well, just how passionate of a Vanderbilt fan I am.
He's so passionate that he is not able to attend games. Is that fair, Clay?
That's fair.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Back here on the McFarland Show. Darren and Justin here with you. Devlin is alongside. Waiting for one Casey Alexander to call in. We'll talk a little Bruins with him. Talk about his team that's been hot of late. Mm-hmm. While we're in a stall, while we're waiting.
Sure.
There's been a whole lot of coordinators, a lot of coaches.
Yeah.
Shown the door. I guess the NFL, maybe this is the new trend, at least for this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have like 9 head coach openings.
Yeah.
Instead, it'll be 19 coordinator openings.
Yeah. Different approach. Very different approach. I think we had 5 openings this year in the NFL, and that was about it. Carolina, Denver, Arizona, that job is still open, obviously. Indianapolis and Houston. Those were the openings. And, so far, nobody's made a move to hire a brand new head coach, but the other teams we thought might make a move in that regard. Teams like, so far, Tampa. Some people were questioning whether or not Todd Bowles was going to get another year. Well, turns out their offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, is out. There is the OC. We all thought, or at least Darren heavily thought, that the head coach out there for the Chargers was going to be gone. Turns out they're just getting rid of the OC and the quarterback coach. And now in Baltimore, Greg Roman has decided to part ways with the organization.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means there with John Harbaugh and company in Baltimore. So, no, not a full reset, just a partial offensive reset. And the same thing here in Tennessee. So this is going to make a very competitive OC market at this point. With a lot of quarterback coaches should be prepping their resumes right now because several guys are going to get promotions here.
The Dolphins part ways with their DC, Josh Boyer. So
okay,
their defense really crumbled, especially down the stretch. But, yeah, a lot of coordinators. Byron Leftwich, it was like the worst-kept secret ever, but it did was finally made official today. And by the way, they cleaned house on offense. Wasn't just Byron Leftwich. They really just basically they're going to start over on the offensive side of the ball. Pretty interesting. The Patriots doing a lot of interviews for an offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Sean Jefferson is
former
going to
wide receiver.
Well, yeah, and on the Titans staff, and this year I believe was on the Arizona staff. He was.
Okay, all right.
So they've interviewed him for the OC position. Today they hired. Today they interviewed Bill O'Brien.
Okay.
We talked with that yesterday with Bill Keane.
Absolutely.
I do not believe. Look, Saban and Belichick are very, very close.
They are.
This is what Saban does.
Yes.
Saban, just behind the scenes, strongly encourages guys to look elsewhere. And if you need help, I'll help. I'll put in a call for you.
Sure.
I'll do whatever you need. But I strongly encourage you to look elsewhere. So they leave on their own.
Yeah.
Kind of like their defensive coordinator just left on his own and went to Ole Miss.
Yeah, greener pastures.
Yeah, sure.
And we're just,
But, yeah.
Next challenge. Just moving on, my next challenge. Moving on to whatever, the great beyond has for me after this. That's all we're doing.
I think that there's a real shot Bill O'Brien is going to end up, because the rumors have been that he's going back to the NFL.
Yeah,
and so and look, he's familiar with them.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's been there before. I mean, so
yeah.
It's not like Belichick is not afraid to do the recycle them, bring them back.
He's also fairly familiar with the quarterback that's currently up there, is he not?
Well, yes.
Were they together at Alabama at the same time? Mac
yes.
Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a big selling point. If anybody can get the most out of Mac Jones, it would seem Bill O'Brien could do just that.
Yeah.
Potentially.
And listen to this one. This one surprised me. I didn't know he was in the league. They're going to interview Keenan McCardle.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know he was the receivers coach the last 2 years in Minnesota. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know Keenan McCardle was the Vikings
Keenan McCardell.
receivers coach.
I mean, listen, Keenan McCardell is in the Hall of Very Good. Now, I wouldn't put him in Canton, but he was awfully good, awfully productive during his time down there. You're talking about one of the best 1-2 combos in the NFL in the last 25 years. McCardell and Jimmy Smith down there in Jacksonville, they were trouble for sure.
You never could miss Keenan McCardle if you went into the locker room after he had showered and was dressed, ready to talk to people, because usually he was wearing a lime green suit or a purple suit. He stood out. Let's just say he stood out.
That teal worked for him down there.
Yeah.
That Jacksonville teal.
Yep. All right, let's head over to Campus Belmont. I believe their head coach has called in, Casey Alexander, on the line. Maybe he was talking with Dansby Swanson, congratulating him on joining his beloved Cubs. Casey, what's going on?
Hey, Darren, how are you? Sorry, I need some readers. I thought I was supposed to call at 2:30, so I'm a little behind the times here. And I also had Keenan McCardle on my fantasy team back in the day.
Oh, nice. Man, and he was a dream, wasn't he? I did too. He was awesome. That was old school fantasy back then.
That's right.
So do you have the readers? Are you at that stage?
Well, not often enough, apparently. But yeah, I'm there for sure. The big 5-0.
Okay. Well, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. I lasted 45 years before I had to do it. So maybe we were about the same age when we had to go down that path. So what's going on with your team? You guys are red hot, looking good in your new conference. You've won 5 in a row. What do you think right now, the way your team's playing?
Well, I'm happy about how it's all coming together. You know, we went into the season with so many questions that were really impossible to answer until we just got into games and could figure out who we were and where we stood. And we weren't a very good team early. I had a lot to learn, but it's all coming together, better and nicely. We've beaten some really good teams in this stretch and in this season. We got a long way to go. As of yesterday, there were 8. Before yesterday, there were 8 teams tied for first or second, all within one game of each other, and we've only played one of those 8 on the road. So it's going to get a lot tougher for us, but we're more prepared than we were. I'll say that.
From what you can tell right now, what is the biggest difference between all the years in the OVC and now playing in the Missouri Valley Conference?
Yeah, I hate to say it in such a way that it minimizes how good the OVC was and how much we enjoyed our time there, but it's just a better league. I mean, the Missouri Valley, there's 32 conferences out there. The Missouri Valley is typically in the 11 to 14 range. I think it's 13th this year as far as conference rankings go, and I think the OVC is 26 or 27. And so it's just the caliber of teams on a game-by-game basis is just significantly better, and that makes the season much tougher. I would say those 8 teams I mentioned just a moment ago, would all be, playing for first in the OVC.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, it's just it's a much more physical league. I think it's a Big Ten derivative in my mind as far as the style of play, the style of player, the way the rosters are assembled, much more physical, slower tempo, and it's officiated that way. That's something that we did not anticipate. I mean, it's a bloodbath every time we go out there, and we've had to get used to it. We're still not there yet, but we're better than we were.
So is Steve Prom, is he back at Murray State, right? Is he?
He is, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, out. He was went from Murray to Iowa State, sat out last year.
Okay.
And now he's back at Murray.
So was that one of the – so it was weird, right? So we're sitting here talking about a new conference, and then you just beat Murray State the other night. So an old foe. Both of you are in the Missouri Valley Conference now. Is that kind of what you guys were talking about maybe before a game when you just sit and chat of maybe the difference of playing in each conference?
Yeah, I think we're both, because we're on the same track. We're going through similar things, and we're all learning kind of what's needed, both from a roster standpoint and and resources standpoint, scheduling standpoint. We just got a lot of adjustments that we need to make. So yeah, we had those conversations. And it is the ironic part with Murray. Yeah, we've enjoyed a long rivalry with them. And they're really our only connection to the Missouri Valley, but they only had one player back from last year's team, completely new roster, a new coach, new style of play. So even Murray feels quite a bit different than it did in recent past.
I know Casey Alexander on the line with us. I know in the past I've asked you this question, and I'd be curious if it changes or if it's always basically the canned answer. How much can you learn about your team when you win close games, right? I mean, it's always fun to win games where they're not contested, right? And you coast to the victory and you win by 22. That's less pressure on you and everybody feels good. But you also learn a lot about your team when you're in a dogfight, right?
Yeah, 100%. I like those large margins better.
Me too.
But,
yeah.
But I don't know if fans do. I mean, I think our fans have really enjoyed the caliber of play that they've seen in the Curb. It's been far less of a guarantee that we were going to win the game, although we are, I think, 8-1 at home right now. But we've had some great games against great teams, and the level of improvement that we'll experience this year from the first conference game to the last will be significantly greater than what we have, than the improvements we've made in the past several years. Everybody gets better as the season goes along. You just experience is so valuable. But it's having to do it game after game after game after game is really, it helps you get better really quickly.
Yeah. So what do you think something, as you said, everybody gets better now that you're in mid to getting close to late January? What do you think you need to continue to get better at?
Yeah, well, we've learned. I mean, we've always been a better offensive team than we have defensive, and offense has just been tougher to come by. We could kind of scheme our way to some baskets in the past. Physically, athletically, we were as good or better than a lot of people that we were playing, and that's no longer the case. And so we've had to learn to hold our ground a little bit better on the defensive end, and that'll continue to be the challenge for us. We're just going to have to win ugly more often.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about just winning. You've won a lot, sir. Just looking over your record, 228 wins over the course of your career. You haven't lost more than 10 games in 6 years. You clearly have high expectations for your basketball team. I just wonder, how do you impress that on to new students who come into the program, that this is what we expect when you're here, when you're coaching under me, when you're here under this program?
Yeah, I think the we part of it is the most important part of that. I mean, it's I'm really lucky at this stage to be at a place that's won at a high level. Belmont is, gosh, we've had, I want to say 11 out of the last 12 seasons, 20-win seasons, and the one we didn't was 19. And so we just talk a lot about expectations here, people that have come before us here, the formula for winning here. I'm just the caretaker, but the program sells itself in a lot of ways, and it's nice when you can set the bar high like that. Winning's hard, and we don't take it for granted in any way, shape, or form. But I know from being, when I took over at Stetson, when I took over at Lipscomb, I mean, it doesn't happen by magic. And if you can be at a place that's used to it and just feels like they're supposed to win, that goes a long way.
We talk a lot on this program, sir, about the impact of the transfer portal on college football. I'm wondering, from your vantage point in college basketball, how the changes in the game has impacted you and your department, things like NIL and transfer portals and such.
Well, they coincide. They're very separate entities in one sense, but one influences the other to some degree. The portal itself, the biggest change with the portal, happened a couple of years ago. It was more so the fact that players could transfer and play right away. They've always been able to transfer, and there's always been technically a portal out there. But being able to transfer and play right away really changed the game, because kids then, anybody who was on the fence in the past may decide to stay because they don't want to go and sit out a year. But now that they can go play right away, well, that eliminates a lot of the reason not to. And then, because that's the case, coaches feel a lot more comfortable recruiting other players from other teams' rosters, and because they know they can get somebody to come in and help them right away, So it just compounds the problem, and then you throw NIL on top of that, and that's a whole other element that squeaks the wheel, so to speak. And so it's a real issue. We don't like it. It really, really, really. It challenges our model. Our model has always been go get the right kind of kids that fit our style and fit Belmont, and our retention's been as good as anybody's in the country. And so it really challenges our model. We're going to have to get a lot better to keep doing it the way we've been doing it.
Coach, I appreciate your honesty. I haven't heard anyone say we don't like it. Normally they kind of beat around the bush with it, like, well, it's a challenge and we're trying to overcome. But, you're straight up, you don't like it. That's strong language. Excuse me for harping in on it. I haven't heard that. Most guys kind of take a more diplomatic route.
Well, I mean, I think we all have to say the right thing in the sense that we want the players to have the freedom that they should have, and that sort of thing. But I don't think it's good for. I think it's good for them. I don't think it's good for anybody else.
I wanted to ask you about the Curb Event Center in particular. You talked about it a few moments ago about the home court there. I know for a fact there were other universities who have come in and looked at the Curb Event Center as a model for their new arenas down where they're building them. It's hosted 2 presidential debates in addition to being a place where they play incredible college basketball. How special of a place is that for you guys? And it's really a kind of a historic place that's quietly historic, though, over there at Belmont.
Well, it's been good home for us. I can say that, and really for a lot of reasons. I mean, on one hand, it's just brick and mortar, and again, the more you win games, the more everybody likes it, because you want to say that it's the building, but Belmont has always done a great job of making it a really fun environment to watch a game. Families can come, kids can come. It's a safe place. There's not a lot of trouble around, and so just the whole, and then marketing and excitement in the game is getting better and better all the time. So it's become a really good place. It's clean. It's nice. There's not a bad seat in the house. It's not too big. It's not too small. So it's been a really good place for us.
Coaches are deemed a lot smarter too with a lot of wins. That works
for sure.
too. Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. I did want to ask you on the way out, because you're a program that typically has been able to keep your players from beginning to end. You don't have to really deal with this whole one and done and all that stuff that other programs do. But you're also getting some production out of young guys. It's not like, well, okay, just wait till your junior year before we need you to shine. Just sit and wait. You got some young guys right now that are contributing, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, 2 of our top maybe 3 or 4 scorers are true freshmen. I know 2 of our top 3 most used players, if you look at analytics and everything else, are freshmen. And so some of that was a necessity. We just lost so much last year through graduation, and then we lost 2 in the portal ourselves last year, one of which was a freshman. And so we had to have some guys come in and play right away. But we knew we had some good ones, and these guys have been really, really steady for us since the beginning. One of them has started, all but 2 games this season, I think, and the other one started maybe 7 out of our 20. So.
Well, I know you've got Bradley on the road on Saturday, and you had a close one against Bradley at home earlier in the year where you guys came away with a 3-point win. Continued success. Go get them on Saturday, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for doing this.
I appreciate it. Glad to connect with you guys.
Thank you, sir.
That is Casey Alexander, Belmont Bruins head basketball coach. Just to kind of put an exclamation point on what you're asking about the Curb Event Center.
Yeah.
They're 161-17 in conference games.
Jeez.
At the Curb.
Jeez.
Let me repeat that. 161-17 conference games at the Curb. 81. They went 81-5.
Yeah.
In the OVC.
Yeah.
At home.
That's pretty dominant.
Here's another pretty cool stat.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, Kansas, Oregon, and Belmont. Only programs to win 20 or more games in 12 straight seasons.
Yeah.
Only those 4 programs in the country. Now remember, Division I basketball has about 335?
Yeah, something like that.
Division I basketball programs?
Yeah.
Something? I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's not like football.
No.
It's like triple the size of football.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those 4 programs. Belmont is with Gonzaga, Kansas, and Oregon.
Belmont is quietly an amazing machine over there in South Nashville. They really are.
Yeah. We'll come back. Your phone calls the rest of this hour, 615-844-5600. More of the McFarland Show next.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/JOY.
Golfers, tee it up this Thursday through Sunday at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Callaway Fitting event and be the first to score the new Paradigm woods and irons. The woods are engineered with forged carbon to maximize distance and forgiveness. The irons feature a forged face for increased launch speed and spin. A new paradigm in performance. Go to worldwidegolfshops.com and reserve your free custom fitting experience happening this Thursday through Sunday. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today is going to be sunny and windy with a high of 66, winds gusting to 40 miles per hour. Partly cloudy and brisk tonight, low 34, winds gusting to 30 miles per hour. Sunshine for Friday, high 48. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio WNSR.
Back here on the McFarland Show on this Thursday afternoon. Another gorgeous day here in Middle Tennessee. Very windy.
Almost too gorgeous, if you ask me.
Be careful driving in all seriousness. It is really
it's rough stuff.
Really windy. You got maybe a lighter car, it'll blow you around. I'm not kidding. It's aggressive.
It doesn't have to be a lighter car. It could just be a high-profile car.
Well, you're right. I don't have a light car, and it's blowing me around.
The cars with a higher profile are more likely to tip over, so that's why people with minivans, especially things like that, without wide bases, you got to be careful. That top heavy will get you on windy days like this.
Yeah,
it really can.
I drove in the tour bus today, and it was tough at times.
Yeah.
Typically, I would drive it tomorrow when we're going to, Tuscum Lanes.
Sure.
But I drove it today.
Yeah.
I won't drive it tomorrow.
Get your practice in.
Yeah. We're at Strike and Spare tomorrow, by the way. Greg Pogue and John Burton, their show will be there from 9 until 11 in the morning. We'll be there from 2 until 4 in the afternoon, just a couple miles down the road on Nolensville Road. 615-844-5600, 844-5600. Let's go over to Nolensville. Tony is up next. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
You're right. You're right about this wind. I drive a big expedition, and you either go big and get blown around, or if you're in the smaller cars, you get blown around. But I guess with my size, with the driver, sometimes it anchors it down. So
honestly, Tony, that's why I'm bringing it up, because since the holidays, I've tacked on a pound or two extra too, and it still was blowing me around. So yeah. With you.
It is. It was really a good segment with Casey Alexander. I tell you what, I've watched him, evolve into this coach that he is, and I think he's a great guy, and he's a class act. And if anything, whatever becomes of Stack over at Vanderbilt, if they finally cut that tie, if that does happen, I think they got to look at Casey down the road. I think this is one guy in this city who could bridge the fans who have departed Vanderbilt. I think basketball-wise, he could bridge that gap between Vanderbilt and the administration and the fans and bridge that back together and create that fan base again that what Memorial Magic once was. Y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't think that, Vanderbilt is anywhere near close to looking at a coaching change.
I don't either.
So,
but when it's going to come to that. It's going to come to it.
Well, he does. Look, I like Jerry Stackhouse, but we've talked about it on the show. I mean, he definitely is. I think to me, the thing that is missing, I think he can coach. I think his kids play hard. I think he needs to get out there, and my personal opinion, I think he needs to be out there a little bit more, and that is in the community and also recruiting. I mean, if he had the players, even more players, I think they would be a force. I don't know how hard he's hitting the recruiting front. That's just my opinion.
Darren, it's well documented that he don't like recruiting. He don't like it. And you got to, that's the way your players come to you, you know. And I'm behind him. He's a Vanderbilt man right now. I'm behind him. And but I mean, just with that being said, it's just, you know, we talked 2 days ago. Vanderbilt needed that win. This is time to maybe go knock off Alabama. They played hard. They played good at times. But then again, you know, it's the bottom. That's what's the phrase? At the end of the day, it was an L. And his record is not very pretty in the conference nor overall, but I do know we gave him an extension on a contract. Why, I don't know, last year. So that's just something but that's just something I think Vanderbilt ought to look at, is looking at Casey. One other thing I wanted to ask y'all about when I get off here. Isn't it intriguing, interesting, quizmatic, if you want to call it that, why Eric Bieniemy cannot get a head coaching job? I mean, his name comes up every time something pops open, and he don't get the head coaching job. And then when Colorado, his alma mater, where he was All-American, all-everything at, come open, they didn't even look at him. They went to Dion. I just wonder what's beyond that. And I'm going to let y'all talk about it and hang up, but it is something that has been pondered, and I've heard others talk about it. Is he not a good interviewer or what? But it's just something why he can't get a head coaching job. So
Okay.
I'm going to let y'all go on that, guys.
We will
Looking
definitely
forward to
weigh in.
seeing you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
We'll weigh in on the other side. Also, your phone calls, welcome, 844-5600. More of the McFarland Show next.
It's never a bad time to have a good time at Strike and Spare Family Fun Center. And that's exactly what WNSR Nashville Sports Radio will be doing Friday, January 20th, with not one but two shows broadcasting live from Tusculum Lanes on Nolensville Pike. That's right, the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show from 9 to 11, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin from 2 to 4. Both shows broadcasting live from Tusculum Lanes. And you're invited to come bowl, eat, drink, and just hang out with the guides and WNSR listeners and receive a discount on bowling and food during the broadcast. That's Friday, January 20th. The Greg Pogue and John Burton Show from 9 to 11. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin from 2 to 4. Two shows, one location, one station. Broadcasting live from Strike and Spare Tusculum Lanes, located at 5315 Nolensville Pike. Friday the 20th. On the road, on the air, and everywhere with WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067. Online at CordellCordell.com.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189. Or online at richardcourtney.com.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
I have not met you, Andrew, but I'd love to meet you someday.
Yes, sir.
What story are you want to
anchored
tell him,
down.
Clay? Oh, about how you got ejected?
Well, just how passionate of a Vanderbilt fan I am.
He's so passionate that he is not able to attend games. Is that fair, Clay?
That's fair.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Ironically, I think I brought this up on Monday. And remember, Tony said he was traveling with his wife and they weren't listening. So, ironically, Tony, I actually addressed this on the show on Monday because it's something that bothers me. Because I think it's laziness by the media. Because this person's saying it and that person's saying it. And on Twitter, they're saying it. And on shows, they're saying it. So, I'm going to follow the masses, and I'm going to be lazy, and I'm going to say the same thing. And I'll ask you the same thing that I brought up on Monday. I would love to ask anybody and everybody that say, I don't understand why Eric Bieniemy doesn't get a head coaching job. Well, I'll ask you, why do you think he deserves one? Because what? Because you know of his work ethic? Because of you know what he's like during games? Because you know what he's like during the week. You know what he's like in meeting rooms. You know what he's like as a person. Because you know what? What do you know? What do you know that we don't know? So just because everybody says Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach, well, why don't you think anybody's hired him? Well, don't you think there's a reason? Possibly?
That's the question people are asking. Why hasn't anybody
right,
hired him?
But again, I mean, there's hundreds of Eric Bieniemys out there that deserve a head coaching job.
No,
Sure there
hundreds of Eric Bieniemys.
Sure there are.
There ain't hundreds of people who've been an offensive coordinator in the football league for, forever like this, who've had the success as the OC that Eric Bieniemy has had. That's not everybody.
The success of Eric Bieniemy.
Everybody's won the Super Bowl as the offensive coordinator? How many people have done that?
Okay.
How many people coach Patrick Mahomes? How many people did that?
Okay.
How many
It's
people?
Patrick-
How many
so
people
who's
have
getting the
operated
credit
under
for that?
Andy Reid?
Eric Bieniemy
How many
or
people have
Patrick Mahomes?
operated under Andy Reid
Or Andy
for
Reid.
several years? How many people
Right.
do that?
Yeah, look.
And
look,
the last
it's-
people who did do it under
look, I
him
don't-
have moved on to
I
jobs.
know.
Matt Nagy
look,
moved on to jobs.
yeah,
I'm just saying, Darren.
Don't give me all that stuff.
I'm just saying. Why you asking?
Like, just stop
like,
it.
oh, there's a bunch of these
Stop
dudes
it.
walking around.
Just stop it. Stop it.
Okay.
Just stop it.
You're the one who asked the question.
No, exactly. And I want to know why everybody's saying he deserves a job.
That's
because
why.
what?
Because of his resume.
His resume.
There's 100 people like
Patrick
Eric
freaking Mahomes and Andy Reid, his resume.
Oh, my bad.
Then why
Did
has he been
that
hired?
stop Matt Nagy from getting the job?
Tell me why
he
he
was
hasn't
under
been
him
hired.
too, and he got hired.
Why hasn't
he
he
got
been
a job.
hired?
Why did Matt LaFleur and these other guys get hired?
Why?
Under what?
I don't
From
know.
where?
What?
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys
Here's an idea,
who coach
Justin.
who coach under
Maybe
Aaron Rodgers.
they interview better than him.
Who
How
coach
about
under
that?
Aaron Rodgers? They get a job.
How about they
Where did the
interview
guy
better?
from the Chargers come from? How many successful? Where did he come from? What did he do?
Maybe they
Nick
interview better.
Sirianni. Nick
Maybe
Sirianni.
they're better.
What did Nick Sirianni do to get his job? It's very subjective.
Yeah.
That's all. It's just very subjective.
It's
so
laziness.
when you ask the question,
it's
well, what did he
laziness
do?
by the media.
He
That's
did
what
the
it is.
same- He did
It's
the same
laziness.
stuff everybody else did.
It's laziness. Oh, everybody's saying it, so I'm going to jump on and say it too.
I got
the
that
bottom line is nobody has a clue.
No.
And so they're just like,
It's
hey,
hard to say.
it's a cool topic because everybody else is talking about it, so I'm going to be
No, that
lazy
part I agree.
and I'm going to do it too.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I'm just saying that
Like,
what did he
it's
do?
laziness.
Like he's not a special. Like he doesn't have a special resume
No,
compared to everybody else.
What did I say on Monday? I want somebody to come to me and give me hard facts. This is what I know about him. This is why he should be. But you know what? I haven't had anyone tell me that. You know what? He's the hardest working guy in the building. He's the smartest dude I've ever been around. He's the coolest dude. He's the best dude I've ever been around. I have no clue. But yet there are none of those stories. It's just everybody going, I don't understand why Eric Bieniemy doesn't get hired. Well, you tell me. Tony asked the question. Colorado, he's one of them. He is. He is one of the best buffs ever.
Yeah.
Why didn't they hire him?
He's got some baggage there.
Oh, okay. So should that factor into any of this?
Apparently it does.
I'm not saying. Look, I'm not saying it should, because that was a long.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
But could that play a factor? I don't know.
Look,
I'm just saying that everything didn't end on the up and up when he was there in Colorado.
If this guy has, what's that been, 20-something
30 years,
30
20,
years
20
ago?
30 years, yeah.
If that's the reason, like, to me, then come on.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying.
But do we know that everything's been squeaky clean in the last 25, 30 years? I don't know that. I don't know that.
But we don't know that about any of these guys.
No. You're right. But there is baggage. It's not like he's squeaky clean.
No, there's some baggage there in Colorado, especially in Colorado.
But 25, 30 years ago, like, that's really the reason you wouldn't bring back your own? If he's so great and everybody's saying he should be a head coach, why wouldn't Colorado do it? Oh, because of something 30 years ago?
Maybe.
Really?
Or maybe he doesn't want a college job.
Well,
I mean, how do we know Colorado didn't call him?
Maybe.
I mean, do we know that for a fact? Do we know Colorado's president didn't pick up the phone, call Eric Bieniemy, he was like, "Nah, I'm good"?
Well, I mean, I would think it would get out there. If you're
both
Colorado,
know
when you be like, "Hey, we tried, man."
Well, not when you get Deion Sanders soaking up the oxygen. I mean,
I know. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, we'll come back. We'll head to St. Louis. We'll talk with Emma Lincoln. We'll do that next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Tom Rivers. Today, the U.S. is on track to reach its debt ceiling, a $31 trillion cap that Congress either has to raise or suspend to avoid defaulting on the government's bills.
Republicans are calling for spending cuts, while Democrats and the White House are pushing for a debt ceiling increase with no conditions. Without that increase, the Treasury cautions it will turn to extraordinary measures, such as cutting payments to some government employee retirement funds, buying time for just a matter of months. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Also later today, prosecutors will announce charges in the Rust movie set shooting that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins and raise questions about whether actor Alec Baldwin pulled the trigger. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says she's stepping down ahead of this year's election in October, praised for her handling of the deadly Christchurch mass shooting in 2019. This is ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Listen. You can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour McFarland Show here on this Thursday afternoon. Darren and Justin here with you. One more hour to go. Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio here on this nice but very windy day. Tomorrow we'll actually be at Strike and Spare just down the road, the Tuscum Lanes on Nolensville Road, a couple miles down here from the radio station. So we're looking forward to that. Greg Pogue and John Burton will be there from 9 until 11 in the morning. We'll be there from 2 until 4 in the afternoon. Good way to close out the week. The Predators are going to close out their road schedule in the month of January tonight in St. Louis against the Blues. Final road game in the month of January. Emma Lincoln is standing by, Predators beat reporter. She now joins us. Emma, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. See if the Predators can keep this week nice. 2 good wins at home on Monday and Tuesday, and we'll see if they can keep it rolling tonight in St. Louis.
Yeah. These are, we're getting to the point in the season now where every point counts even more, especially when it's a division point or 2 points, hopefully, tonight. So hopefully we can keep it going and get back home.
Michael McCarron has completed his player assistance program and is back with the Predators. They put him on waivers. He cleared that, and they have put him back in Milwaukee. So good to hear that everything has gone well on that front, and hopefully he'll be playing hockey real soon.
Yeah, we're all really happy for Mac. I talked to him briefly yesterday, and he's in really good spirits. He's really excited to get back, and the process of putting him on waivers is more of a formality so that he could clear and, as you said, go back to Milwaukee, the idea being that he hasn't skated in over a month at this point. So just get him some reps in the AHL, get him back to playing shape, and then we'll go from there.
The goaltending play has been fantastic. UC was good on Monday night. Kevin Lankinen in there Tuesday night against Columbus. They won both games 2-1, so the scoring still down compared to the rest of the league. But the way they're getting play in net right now, that's fantastic, right? But you can't depend on that the rest of the way. As you mentioned, they're in the second half of the season now, and they're going to need to help their goalies out and start scoring a little bit more and even help out with the play in front as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, not to discount the goaltending, as you said, it's been fantastic. And a few of the guys have said to me at various points throughout the year that, as long as you have good goaltending, that's always going to give you a chance to win. So they always have a chance with whether it's Juice or Lanky in net that, they've been really standing on their heads for this team. And, we've seen some kind of inconsistent efforts maybe. That's one of the biggest things that Coach John Hines has talked about is seeing more consistency out of this team, whether that's consistency with the offense or consistency with, playing a full 60-minute game. So the goaltending is the one thing that has been really consistent for this team all season. And like you said, we at this point, we're playing St. Louis tonight, and last time we saw St. Louis, they won 1-0 overtime win. So not exactly a lot of offense in that game. So hopefully we can change that tonight.
Cody Glass has been rewarded playing on that first line with Duchesne and Forsberg. What are you seeing out of him right now where he continues to thrive currently? And, we've been kind of waiting for this Cody Glass moment where he kind of breaks through and hopefully he can continue, right? That's the biggest thing is being able to continue to do that at this rate night in and night out.
Yeah, Cody is obviously, he's a fan favorite for a reason, and it's so great to see him thriving, like you said, and really kind of achieving his potential as a top 6 center, which is what he was always supposed to be. They tried him out on the top line earlier in the season, did not go as planned, and I think the tendency maybe from the general fan base would be to see that as like, oh, he played one bad game and so he's being banished to the 3rd or 4th line, or he's being scratched as a punishment. And that's really not true. I mean, if you look at what Coach Hines said about Cody back when they tried him on the first line and it didn't work out so well, he said Cody was playing like he was afraid to make a mistake. And you're not putting your players in the best position to succeed if you're giving them something that they're not ready for. So all it was is, getting him more reps and allowing him to build that confidence, build that chemistry with the other guys on the top 6. And, Cody is one of the hardest workers on this team, hands down. And, he's never, if you just look at his track record with whether it be injury or, being sent down to the AHL last season or what have you, he uses every single little obstacle that's thrown at him. He uses that as fuel to keep going and to get even better. And you're really starting to see that confidence showing up in him now. And it's great to see. He even said the other night, he said, I know that I deserve this, and I know that I deserve to be here, and I know that I can play with players of the caliber of Philip Forsberg, Matthew Shane, and now we're seeing him back that up with the way he's been playing. So it's been really special to watch.
This is a really important game because these are two teams that are kind of battling for the same spot, right? I mean, I don't really think these two are both going to get in, right? It feels like somebody's going to need to be better than the other. When you look at the Blues stats, they're kind of just, middle of the road or below average in a lot of categories. And I know you know how this works. You get in there, I don't know how many people you've talked to, but just maybe the vibe. I wonder what they're saying there. Maybe you do have a little insights on this. It kind of feels like this is going to be an important month and a half before the trade deadline for really both teams, but I'm going to bring up St. Louis right here because if they're not in any better shape, Emma, or actually fall back more in the standings, I kind of feel like they may be sellers. And when I say that, sellers in a big way, like you may see a big name or two maybe get, shipped out. Like Tarasenko, how long have we been hearing the rumors? Like it kind of feels like Tarasenko's kind of been that guy where the last couple of years it's like, really, are they going to trade him? But this year it kind of feels even more real than it has in the past.
Yeah, like we've been saying, it's an important time of the year. It's a very telling time of the year for any team, and especially like any division matchup like this, whether it's St. Louis or any of the other teams in the Central Division are going to matter that much more, especially, you look at the Central Division standings, I think the Preds have 48 points and St. Louis has 47. So they're right there with them. And so this is, as I said earlier, the point where every win counts, every point counts, especially within the division. And as far as, trade deadline, it's still, as I've said, very early to tell on anything like that. The one thing you mentioned, Tarasenko, which, brings up a bigger point about St. Louis, is that this is a really banged up team. Some of their biggest names are on IR right now. And so you have guys like Jake Neighbors playing in the top 6 for St. Louis. And he wasn't even a regular NHL guy last year. So I think that is something that hopefully the Preds can use to their advantage tonight. As this is a team that's dealing with injury to, its top players and top veterans there. So that also, to your point, could make those players harder to move at the deadline. We'll just kind of have to see what happens there.
Emma, how important is it for this team to win games they're supposed to win? Winning games against teams who don't have, it would seem, as much talent or not having a great season?
I think if you asked anyone on the team, that to them it doesn't matter. They, their job is to win regardless, and they need to beat any team that is iced against them. And, yes, it's big. It's big for, to kind of get wins against maybe struggling teams. Like you said, it's more of a morale thing. But I think, like I said, what's more important to these guys is just getting a win, period, especially against a division rival. That's what matters most.
This team is extremely streaky. I'm just going to say it. I'm not saying it as an opinion. To me, it's a fact now. This team wins several games in a row and then loses several games in a row in bunches. And it's just it's kind of just when you think they have turned the corner and we are finally on the way to securing 7, 8, maybe even sliding up, and then all of a sudden and I'm sure it's extremely frustrating for the guys as well. Any explanation from them even about why they can't string together and be more consistent? And I know they're working on it.
Yeah, that's, as I said earlier, it's kind of one of the biggest themes if you talk to any of the guys or the coaches at this point is, they need to string those wins together, like you said. And we've seen that they can. As you said, they've had some hot runs, hot streaks already this season. So we know they can do it. It's just a matter of, one of the most common things you'll hear them say is that, maybe they get away from their game a little bit. They get away from their identity a little bit. And it has been hard, and they're never going to make excuses. So maybe I'll make the excuse for them because I'm not the one playing. But I think, they've had a really tough schedule, especially with the road and the travel schedule they've had. And again, I've said this before, it's been tough on me, and I'm not the one playing, so I can only imagine. So I think having that, having sort of an unexpected back-to-back at Bridgestone Arena this week with the rescheduled game against Columbus, there's a lot of factors there. And again, none of that is an excuse that you'll ever hear from the guys, but they just need to be able to kind of give consistent efforts. And that's not even just game to game. That's even within games. You talk about streaking. I mean, they can be streaky even within a single game. It can be, and you'll hear that a lot is, the first period we were great. Second period was awful. Third period was okay, or, any combination thereof. So I think that's got to be the biggest thing is first finding that consistency and not letting their foot off the gas, as simple as that sounds. I mean, I think that's really the key there.
Lastly, for me, Emma, happy birthday. I've been reading, and I see today just happens to be the day of your birth. And also, you happen to share it with a couple of other very famous Tennesseans, and one, Dolly Parton, the icon, and the other icon, Pete Weber, also celebrating a birthday. How are you dealing with that up there? And I know one of your favorite places, St. Louis, Missouri.
I was commenting on that earlier. First of all, thank you for the birthday wishes. I was looking at, I've known for my whole life that I've shared a birthday with Dolly, and that was, pressure enough. But then you add in Pete Weber, I'm like, man, I feel not worthy. I'm like, should I just celebrate my birthday on like another day or something? Like I just, I don't feel worthy to share with them. So, but yeah, it's we're in lovely St. Louis. It's a little cloudy, a little rainy, a little cold.
It's also known as Thursday. That's known as Thursday in St. Louis.
Thursday in January.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to sugarcoat it.
It's all right.
We've been there.
It's okay.
We've been there.
It's okay. It's okay. I was telling Darren earlier, I know that arena is one of your favorites in all the NHL. I know you've made a comment about that in the past. So, just happy birthday, and I hope you find some joy there in St. Louis tonight for sure.
Well, thank you. And, I've talked to some people, and, even some of the guys have wished me happy birthday today, and they say, like, hope you have a great day. And I say, well, no pressure, but that's kind of entirely dependent on how you guys do tonight. So
there you go. Good. Good for you.
We'll see.
Put a little pressure on them tonight. I like that. I like that. A little motivation. By the way, how's the Wi-Fi in the arena? Is it even better? Can you at least tweet out things on your birthday?
Oh, gosh, I hope so. I was there this morning, and it seemed to be working okay. So fingers crossed it's still going to be working with a lot more people in the building tonight.
Yeah.
So
if it was just okay for morning skate, yeah.
No.
Guess they haven't fixed it, Justin. I said, I tried to pay, maybe they fixed it since the last time I was there.
Update that router there. Not quite. They haven't switched over.
Hopefully.
Dial in.
Well, Emma, happy birthday. Thanks for working on your birthday.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Emma Lincoln, Predators beat writer in St. Louis, Preds
Birthday
Blues.
woman.
Tonight,
Birthday
7
princess.
o'clock. Yes. Dolly Parton, as you mentioned, 77
Yes.
today.
Emma is younger.
Emma is younger. She is a lot younger than Dolly. Pete Weber is younger than Dolly Parton.
Yes.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, they will stay there.
Happy birthday, Pete Weber, as well.
Without question.
We'll come back. Phone lines are open. We're wide open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600. 844-5600. What's on your mind on this Thursday as you listen to the McFarland Show on WNSR?
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy, fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. Divorce can be complicated, especially if children are involved. If you're a father and want to protect your role in your children's lives, remember Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men with matters like these for 30 years, and we'd love to help you.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067. Online at CordellCordell.com.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. The package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
I have not met you, Andrew, but I'd love to meet you someday.
Yes, sir. What story are you want to tell him, Clay? Oh, about how you got ejected?
Well, just how passionate of a Vanderbilt fan I am.
He's so passionate that he is not able to attend games. Is that fair, Clay?
That's fair.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
You know, we were talking during the break. When you think about Dolly Parton, it is really hard to be that famous, and really, I can't think of anybody that ever has anything bad to say, like ever. Like,
no,
ever.
I don't have any, no.
Like, nobody says anything bad about Dolly Parton. It's amazing to be at that level for that long, and everybody seems to love you.
She is universally
beloved.
Yeah.
And so I asked you, I said, is there like, I mean, that list is so small.
Not big.
I said, is there anybody you can think of that's even close to, like, somebody else that we could put in that category? And I thought you brought up a good one. You said Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Garth Brooks, also universally beloved.
Basically universally beloved, yeah.
By, I'm sure you could find somebody with something maybe.
I've never heard it.
But,
never seen it.
It's...
Is there anybody else? Is there a sports figure that we could think of that is
universally
wildly famous and universally loved?
I would have to think nobody who jumps top
comes
of
to
mind.
mind, right?
Not top of mind, no. No. Hank Aaron was fairly close to that. I haven't heard a lot of people say negative things about Hank Aaron. I've met Hank Aaron one time. It was amazing. And all the energy I've known around him before he passed obviously was very positive and strong. But that's about...
Do you think...
I imagine somebody's got something negative to say about Hank somewhere.
Do you think maybe life after playing has helped him maybe drift towardes this category? Peyton? Maybe? Drift? Just in the vicinity?
No. No, there's plenty of people with negative things to say about
I
Peyton.
know playing days for sure. But I'm wondering, since he's done, SNL and all these commercials and the Manning cast and other stuff, is it helping him kind of get in that category?
Maybe,
possibly. Maybe. It's a stretch.
That
was the best I could do for sports.
He's not Garth or Dolly.
No. I'm just trying to think of an athlete. I'm trying to think of a professional athlete.
We'll think about it some more.
Yeah. All right, let's go to, let's see. Nate is in Columbia. Nate, what's up?
What's up, guys? Darren, I thought of Peyton Manning too, but then I thought of all those Foxborough people who you're either a Peyton lover or you're a Brady lover. I felt like that's how it was. So there's got to be, I don't know, maybe not. There's just got to be an athlete, right? I mean, Freddie Freeman's not to the level of fame.
Yeah.
No, those days are way gone.
He's not famous enough.
He's not famous enough, and those days are gone. Now
but
that he left Atlanta.
I was gonna say, I've never really heard that much bad about him before the trade, at least.
That may be true. Obviously, with one fan base, he was Mount Rushmore. But I mean, but he's still like, I don't want to diminish Freddie Freeman's career, but I mean, we're trying to think big. I mean, he's a star, but he's not like
we're thinking all time,
big,
Hall
big,
of Fame
big.
almost. I mean, just really big guys. Like I mentioned, Hank Aaron, that's big. Somebody of that ilk.
Would you put Aaron Judge at that ilk? I mean, obviously not everybody loves him,
but everybody doesn't love. You know what I mean? Everybody doesn't love Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
So. We'll just keep thinking.
We'll
anyway,
think about it.
Yeah.
Keep going here, Nate.
So, I've never, from what I can remember from the time I've started watching hockey, with a player coming off the assistance program, I've never had or thought of anyone that has actually been claimed off of waivers. And I know that the waivers is just a kind of a formality, but I mean, Darren, can you think of anyone that's been ever claimed after coming off the player assistance program?
No, and there was somebody else, I'm drawing blank, somebody else who came out the same time this week as Michael McCarron, and he too was put on waivers. I think you have to. It's league formality. And then he passed to, and I'm drawing blanks on who it was. I know there was another player. To answer your question, no, I can't. I can't think of it.
Do you think if a player that was of higher ilk, like Austin Matthews or someone of that level, if not higher, do you think teams would actually consider picking him up, or do the teams understand there's an understanding
that's what
in the
I was.
organization?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with that. I kind of feel like there would be an understanding, like, hey, like, you're not really going to do that, are you? Like, our dude is coming out of player assistance program. You're not going to really claim him. That's the way I feel. I don't really know the inner workings on that, Nate. So that was my first thought. Is that what? Is that?
Well, I was going to say, and you have to think that the team that does that risks all the other teams looking at you and be like, "We don't want to do business with you later in the season, or in seasons to come."
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't really know the inner workings on that, and I don't have an answer on if that's actually happened. It's a really good question, though. I can't think of anything off the top of my head of where that's ever happened, and I don't really know. Honestly, it's a David Poyle question. If David was coming on, I would ask him, because I do think it's an interesting question. Maybe we'll try to get him on next week.
Well, I was going to say I'd ask the guy from Sportsnet. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know. I can on this station, but yeah, the guy that comes into Nashville off of Sportsnet. I definitely have a question for him too.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys like Elliot that we could ask that question to. But I'll tell you what, I'll look into it. I think it's a good question. I mean, I can reach out to somebody and see if I can get an answer on it.
All right. Y'all have a great weekend, guys.
Right. You too.
Pay attention to the weather because it's January and I want to go swimming.
Well, the last 3 days, it's almost felt like swimming weather, really,
Yeah, I've got a murky pool out back I could try and dive into.
Well, with all the rain overnight. By the way, I didn't know that it poured all night last night.
Yeah.
Like, we were out early this morning. I was like, what are all this? There's standing water everywhere.
No,
I was
it
like,
poured, about 3-4 hours. Yeah.
And my wife was like, yeah, it poured all night. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, well, at least that's what they said this morning on the news.
Oh, yeah. Poured all night.
Neither one of us heard it. I mean, we didn't hear any rain.
Yeah.
So, anyway. All right, Nate, thanks for
Y'all
calling,
have a
man.
great weekend, guys.
Yep, you too. Let's go to Eric. Eric is up next. What's up?
I don't know if she's the level of that thing. One person I can think of that's become really famous that everybody loved in later years, of course, was Betty White. Of course, she passed away a couple years ago.
Betty
That's
White.
a good one.
That's a good
Eric.
one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Because
People have
she
a
did
lot of positive.
of course, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She's remembered for that.
Of course.
Chelsea did the Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
Hot in Cleveland.
Of
She
course.
was got roles, everything, whether it was movies, commercial. Everybody wanted her for everything.
Yep.
And she even hosted Saturday Night Live.
That's
So she
actually
acted
that's
up
a good
until
one. That's a
the
good one.
late 90s.
Yeah.
Very
And a couple
positive.
others, I don't-
May Betty
yeah.
rest in peace.
Absolutely.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
And
If she was alive, she would be in that category.
Yeah. And I don't know, two others, of course, no longer with us, whether you think of those or not. Of course, a few others have been beloved people like maybe Lucille Ball, Doris Day, and Bob Hope. So I don't know if they would be equating that category or not, but those are just some I throw out there. Guys, I just wanted to see if you heard that interesting thing that Colin Cowherd said earlier today.
I did not.
No.
Here was the thing. I was flipping through. He says some things sometimes I agree with, sometimes I don't, but he throws out some interesting stuff. But I happened to be flipping through this right before his headline news. I didn't catch the entire thing, but, of course, he was talking about, of course, the fact that Brock Purdy was the starting quarterback of the 49ers. And, of course, everybody knows Jimmy Garoppolo was gone. But he was talking about Trey Lance, and basically he said that Trey Lance had sent out some sort of cryptic tweet. Apparently in this cryptic tweet, he wants to come to the Tennessee Titans. That's not something I'm wishing for or whatever, but that's according to he was
that's
talking
been
about on
out
the show
there.
today.
Yeah.
Okay, but hold on. Let's talk about this because I was told I forgot who reached out to me and said, hey, did you see Trey Lance's tweet?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I've got a Trey Lance's Twitter account. That tweet does not exist. So I don't know if he deleted it or was this somewhere else? Was this Instagram? Was it on another social media platform?
I have no idea. I don't know what he said or whatever. I just have to catch the tail end of it because Colin Cowherd was
Are you talking about
it.
the
He mentioned on
fingers
show
crossed emoji? Is that what you're talking about?
I guess I don't know, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't see the whole thing. I caught the tail end of it.
Somebody reached out to me and said, "What'd you think of Trey Lance's fingers crossed emoji?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't see that." So I went to his Twitter account, and that tweet is not there. That tweet does not exist unless he deleted it or it was on another social media platform.
I just kind of thought it was interesting. I was flipping through, caught Colin Hubbard, and I saw Titans. I said, "What is this?" And so, but I just missed it only because, like I said, Colin Cowherd mentioned the show today. I wish I'd seen the whole thing, talked about it, but like I said, I was flipping through and caught the tail end of it, whatever. Where I saw that headline. So.
Yeah, it was from my understanding, it was an Instagram post that he had put up, and basically it was just wishing, good luck essentially to Rand Carthon, the new GM.
The Titans from the 49ers.
As he's moving on now, whether or not there was hey, take me with you, no, those words were not part of the tweet at all. It was all emojis, and people can read into it what they want to read into it. I think I took it as, hey, good luck to you.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, and, hopefully everything goes well for you.
I just honestly, look, I'm not going to pretend to know. I don't know Trey Lance. I don't know what's in his head. I've said good luck to people a lot in my lifetime. I don't think of fingers crossed when I think of good luck.
Fair enough.
That seems, considering his circumstance, right? Like, it seems, I don't know, it seems pretty clear, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's going to be the starter, right? I mean, I think they're going to roll with Purdy until he flames out or never flames out. I don't know.
Yeah. Guys, one last thing, and I'll ask this and get off. Let you talk about it. You may have already talked about this because, like I said, I'm just getting in from the grocery store, so I don't know if you talk about this earlier. The fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fined Brian Leftwich and also fined some other guys on defense. A lot of people think this move was made that Tom Brady, we want you back. Now, of course, the report is he's going to go to the Raiders. I've heard other reports saying that last night some wild rumors, some saying he'd go back to the Patriots, which I don't believe, and that they were going to try and trade and get DeAndre Hopkins and T. Higgins, one or the other, both, which I don't believe. And I've heard other people throwing out the fact. And I don't think it was because Miami lost a draft pick over this, about him still going to the Dolphins because his wife and his family's there and joining with Sean Payton. It's just insane how all that stuff is talked. But just wanted to get your thoughts about Tampa Bay firing Byron Leftwich, like I said, with the moves they made trying to get Tom Brady back. Guys, good talk to you. Y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Eric. I do not believe for a minute he's going back to Tampa. I just don't see it. I think that ship has run its course. I think it's over in Tampa. If Tom comes back, I don't pretend to know where he's going to end up because we can't laugh at all these crazy things that Eric threw out there. We can throw out our opinions, but we can't laugh because no one was predicting Tampa.
No.
Okay, no one. No one. Let me repeat that. No one was saying, hey, don't forget about Tampa. Tom's probably going to go to the Bucs. No. So, do I think it's crazy that he would go back to the Patriots? Yeah, I think it's crazy. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's crazy.
Do I think I do? I think it's crazy, and it's not going to happen. But that's my opinion. Do I think the Dolphins is crazy? Yeah, it's crazy. He's not going there. Look, they got in trouble. Like, that would just be an awful, awful look. And the Dolphins have been coming out saying, guys, Tua is our quarterback. Tua is our quarterback. Let's all say it together. Tua is our quarterback. Okay. And they got in trouble for tampering and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that just would be a bad look. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to rule out the Dolphins. I don't believe he's coming here for the reasons I stated a couple days ago on the show. But I didn't say it's a 0.0% chance. I give it somewhere in the 0.1 to 0.9% chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Less than 1%. I don't believe he's going to go to the 49ers. I know people are like, hey, he's from Northern California. Well, that's great.
Yes.
But, that doesn't mean that, he's going back home. I believe if he's going to play, the Raiders came out and moved on from their quarterback.
They did.
Derek Carr said goodbye.
Yes.
I'm out of here. why would he not go to the Raiders where he knows the head coach very, very well?
Mm-hmm.
He has an elite receiver, elite tight end when healthy, and a running back that ran for the most yards in the league this past season. He has weapons. He has a slot receiver in Hunter Renfrow. He's more equipped there than anywhere else. I mean, well, the Dolphins are equipped.
Sure.
They're equipped. But I don't believe he's going to the Dolphins. If he's coming back, in my opinion, he would go to the Raiders.
It's a wild card out there, and that's the owner of the football team. And the owner of the football team of the Raiders.
Is this Washington? Oh, they're not the football team anymore, are they?
No. I mean, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, Mr. Davis, has, is
a bad haircut.
Listen, he's unpredictable, shall we say.
That's one description of him, yes.
Yes. And, I don't know how Tom Brady feels about him in particular, and I wonder if he'd be willing to overlook some of the things, but I'm just saying. I wonder about that. And I don't know where he's going either. I really don't. I mean, the Raiders is as good a guess as anybody else, or it could be another complete, total wild card team that we have no idea about that has been talking to him for a couple of years, and they've decided to finally go ahead and get together, like Green Bay out of nowhere. Like, why would he go to Green Bay? It makes no sense. I don't know why he would go to Green Bay.
Because Aaron Rodgers left.
Yes, but, I mean, it makes no – I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Detroit. He just ends up in Detroit and upgrading Detroit somehow. Why would he go to Detroit? I don't know. Why would he go anywhere? I think it's a complete open space at this point for him. Really.
Well, like I said, Tom Brady was unpredictable the last go-around, so –
No, I don't have a clue.
He may be unpredictable. Here's the other part of this. The way this whole thing unfolded, and I know he had a lot of personal issues going on.
Yeah.
But we'd also have to look at this Tom Brady and say, this is not the best Tom Brady we've seen.
No.
He seems possibly like a guy who looks 45. Possibly.
45-ish, yeah.
45-ish.
Yeah.
He'll be 46 going into next season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Depends on what you're asking him to do, though. If you're asking him to carry your team, I'm not sure he can do that. If you're asking him to sort of be a facilitator and someone who can rise up occasionally and put together a really great drive down the stretch, I think he's capable of doing that. But is he going to go back to 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and 4 interceptions? No, that Tom Brady's gone.
If he throws 66 times a game, he could.
Well, I guess, but now you've abandoned. But I guess that's where we are anyway.
That's a bad recipe, by the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
It typically doesn't work.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah,
but he can end up anywhere. Honestly, anywhere. The Jets need a quarterback. Why would he go to the Jets? Jets have some pieces. I don't know. I mean, just it's a really wide open situation.
By the way, the Jets need an OC too.
They do.
Did you see what Elijah Moore said about
No, I didn't.
the OC on the way out the
No,
door?
I didn't see that. No.
Look at Devlin. Look at what Devlin's doing. That's basically what Elijah Moore did.
Jeez. Okay, that's not FCC friendly. All right.
No, it was not.
Okay.
It was not. Speaking of, people can just go anywhere. Aroldis Chapman has signed a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Royals.
Wow.
Speaking of can go anywhere.
Listen, I'm a Cub fan. I'm never going to say anything bad about Mr. Chapman ever. He can do no wrong for me. Yeah. So whatever he wants to do is okay with me.
1 year, $3.75 million.
Give that man every penny.
Yeah, well, that was 2016 though.
Hey, listen.
That's 7 years.
The banner is still up. Okay, I'm fine.
I'm just telling you that's not the same Chapman.
Probably not.
No, it's not. Probably it's not. It's not. You can drop the probably.
He can do no wrong. He can do no wrong.
All right. We'll come back. 615-844-5600. More of the McFarland Show next.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Dazzling diamonds, royal rubies, elegant emeralds, and stunning sapphires. Now's the time to discover an exquisite variety of radiant, prize-winning jewels that are set to take your breath away. This gorgeous, one-of-a-kind display won't be found at the finest jewelry stores, but rather at your nearest Tennessee lottery retailer with Jumbo Bucks Jewels Instant Games. Collect glistening top prizes of up to $300,000 and make every win sparkle. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
I have not met you, Andrew, but I'd love to meet you someday.
Yes, sir.
What story do you want to tell him, Clay? Oh, about how you got ejected?
Well, just how passionate of a Vanderbilt fan I am.
He's so passionate that he is not able to attend games. Is that fair, Clay?
That's fair.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Dun, 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 dun. Sounds like an 80s song.
Yes, or an 80s video game.
An 80s video game. An 80s video.
Yes.
On MTV.
Yes. Back when they played music.
Yes.
That was interesting.
Music, television, video? MTV, is that?
Yeah, well, no, just music, television. TV stands for television.
Okay. Okay. No, I when I said it, I was like,
just
it doesn't
the pause in your mind.
Well, because oh, jeez. I wasn't ready. I thought it was.
It was like all the lights came on
Yeah.
at the same time.
I just got unplugged.
Oh man.
I just played.
Just had a moment of deep contemplation right there. I'm just like,
did you see the look when I said that? I was like, oh. And then you said,
oh.
Crap. The Colts have requested an interview with Bengals OC Brian Callahan. The Colts have requested an interview for everybody.
By the way, OC stands for Offensive Coordinator.
Television. OCV? No?
No.
No?
No.
OTV?
No. No.
Okay. The man you've heard on a promo in every break during our show. Let's go to Clay.
Superstar.
Clay, what's up?
Boys, how we doing today?
Doing great,
Well, I was doing good until I started talking about MTV.
Now, Darren, tell me something. I've not been officially introduced to your sidekick there. So
Okay.
tell me who
Why
he
I
is.
gotta be a sidekick, man? You're just getting introduced like this.
My boo, Justin.
What are we talking about? Hi, Clay. Good to hear from you, Clay. Just call me Robin, Clay. Good to be here.
Is that your brother?
Yes, it is. Yep, Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
No, just call me Scottie Pippen.
If you come to Strike and Spare tomorrow, you'll see we're twins.
Yes, you'll see the resemblance.
McFarland and McFarland. How you guys see the? I think it's interesting. How do you guys see the Dallas-San Francisco game? I think it's really intriguing. If Dak can play turnover-free football and Dallas's defense plays well like they did in the first game, but more importantly, too, their kicking situation, can be solid. I keep wondering if, the 49ers are on a roll. I keep wondering if Brock Purdy, is that his first name, Brock?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, if he has a, wake-up moment, because as you go further and further into the playoff, the pressure just dials up that much more. So how do y'all see this playing out? I'm just curious.
Okay. I believe, Clay, that San Francisco is going to win. I believe San Francisco is going to win and cover the 3.5. San Francisco's been the best team. They've won 11 in a row. Their defense is lights out in the second half. Lights out. You can't score on them. They've been the best defense. I know everybody's waiting for Brock Purdy to show up and be the last pick in the draft. I get it. I understand
Waiting
that.
for him to turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Like, when is midnight getting here, for goodness sake?
And maybe that happens, but I don't believe it's happening this weekend. Not Sunday in San Francisco. Look, the Cowboys have been up and down this season. They have. They have games where they look like world beaters, and they have games where you go, what was that? And so I'm not ready to anoint them that they're back and, oh, my gosh, they're fixed and they're going to pull off the upset because they beat Tampa. Tampa was lousy, and I predicted they would beat the Bucs. I don't believe they're going to beat the 49ers. That's my take.
Dallas is trying to go somewhere, where they haven't been since 1995. Not only have they not made the Super Bowl, they haven't made the NFC Championship game.
Dallas is loaded with talent on the offensive side of the football, and defense too. But on the offensive side of the football, they are supposed to be able to go out and put up 30 points a game with some of the pieces that they have. Now, whether or not they can actually bring it all together and do it at a time it counts, well, they've never been able to do it before. So to me, this is the now or never game for the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean that. They've got everybody in their prime. They've got everybody as healthy as they're going to be. They've got the Super Bowl winning head coach. They got to go win this game. If they don't go win this game, then blow it up and start over, honestly, because you're not going to get a better opportunity. San Francisco's a great team. In theory, they're supposed to have a 7th-round quarterback, in theory. But he doesn't look like that. He's looked incredibly poised and prepared to go out and play football games for the 49ers. So I would think I'm going to say Dallas is going to win the game simply because this is a game they're supposed to win if you are who they are supposed to be as an organization. After all this time.
Blame it on the Botox, man. I love the team, hate the owner. Jerry Jones is the Botox man.
Yeah, well,
he's a lot of things, and that's one of them. Yeah,
can't deny that. Can't deny that.
He's certainly had some work done.
See you, boys. Have a good day.
All right, Clay. Thank you,
Clay.
You too. One thing I do feel very comfortable about, I want to see what the official.
We're looking for the line there.
Yeah, over under. 46.5. I take the under.
46.5.
I think it's going to be low scoring. Those two
that
defenses.
Would be 27-20, something like that. 46.5.
Well,
that would be
the over.
Yeah,
that would be the over.
So
I think it's going to be the under. I would take the under 46.5.
So you're going 24-20 is what you're saying, or 24-17.
I just think it's going to be really low scoring.
Low scoring
These
affair.
two defenses can get after it.
They can. Oh, they're loaded on both ends here. So, we'll have to see what happens with that.
I would go Clay, that's what I feel the most. I'm going with the 49ers. My mind is not going to change. 49ers are going to beat, sorry, Eric, earmuffs. 49ers are going to beat the Cowboys. I think they're even going to cover. But I feel strongly about them winning. I don't feel as strong about covering. I feel strong about under. So in this order, 49ers money line, so they just have to win, followed by the under, 46.5, and then covering the 3.5. That's my order of strong, how strong I feel. Covering the 3.5 is the one I feel the least strongest about. But winning the game and being the under, I feel very strong on.
A lot of pressure.
There you go.
A lot of pressure on the Cowboys. More pressure on the Cowboys than the 49ers.
Yes. Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Well,
agree. There's always pressure on the Cowboys. No matter
always. What. But no, there's in my mind, they're supposed to win this game if you're them. To go out and get beat by San Francisco, it wouldn't be like a disaster, but they're supposed to go win this game in theory. But we'll see.
Keyword in theory.
In theory.
All right, we'll come back. Step away, final time. Back to wrap up Thursday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
It's never a bad time to have a good time at Strike and Spare Family Fun Center. And that's exactly what WNSR Nashville Sports Radio will be doing Friday, January 20th, with not one but two shows broadcasting live from Tusculum Lanes on Nolensville Pike. That's right, the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show from 9 to 11, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin from 2 to 4. Both shows broadcasting live from Tusculum Lanes. And you're invited to come bowl, eat, drink, and just hang out with the guides and WNSR listeners and receive a discount on bowling and food during the broadcast. That's Friday, January 20th. The Greg Pogue and John Burton Show from 9 to 11. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin from 2 to 4. Two shows, one location, one station. Broadcasting live from Strike and Spare Tusculum Lanes, located at 5315 Nolensville Pike. Friday the 20th. On the road, on the air, and everywhere with WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. It's never a bad time to have a good time at Strike and Spare Family Fun Center. And that's exactly what WNSR Nashville Sports Radio will be doing Friday, January 20th, with not one but two shows broadcasting live from Tusculum Lanes on Nolensville Pike. That's right, the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show from 9 to 11, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin from 2 to 4. Both shows broadcasting live from Tusculum Lanes. And you're invited to come bowl, eat, drink, and just hang out with the guides and WNSR listeners and receive a discount on bowling and food during the broadcast. That's Friday, January 20th. The Greg Pogue and John Burton Show from 9 to 11. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin from 2 to 4. Two shows, one location, one station. Broadcasting live from Strike and Spare Tusculum Lanes, located at 5315 Nolensville Pike. Friday the 20th. On the road, on the air, and everywhere with WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Needing a snow day? How about a dough day? Instant games from the Tennessee Lottery are bringing winning flurries and drifts of cold, hard cash. With chances at breathtaking top prizes up to $4 million. Sled to your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer and score a chance at a dough day. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
Hey guys, it's Zach from the Afternoon Stretch. I want to invite you to T-Line Thursday, January 26th to join Bruno Reagan and myself for our live show. T-Line is located at 106 Duluth Avenue in Nashville, and we will be there from 4 to 6 p.m. And you can meet Bruno and me, most importantly me, in person. Come hang out, enjoy the great food, games, and join the fun with us January 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. live from Nashville's first curling venue, T-Line Nashville.
The three of us have been racking our brains trying to come up with, we happy birthday, Dolly Parton. More importantly, happy birthday, Pete Weber. Happy birthday, Emma Lincoln, who joined us to begin this hour.
Mm-hmm.
People that are universally beloved.
Yeah.
And who are wildly famous. Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Garth Brooks.
Legendary.
Eric called in with one. Betty White, I think, No, not I think. She was in that category.
Absolutely.
But we've been trying to come up with a sports figure, and I've got to be honest, we have not really, I think, come up with a solid selection. I mean, Hank Aaron, I understand that. I get that, but he wasn't beloved until way later.
Yeah.
Way later. And I don't know if he's ever going to be universally
much like Ali,
beloved.
Muhammad Ali, but it was way later, and he was hated by a ton of people during his life.
I think there was a time. Boy, let me be careful. Let me think about this.
Are you sure you want to say whatever you
Well,
think? I don't even know what you're thinking. But
I'm
just be
talking
careful.
about because we both remember his heyday.
Okay.
Where I think he was universally beloved,
Talking about
or
Mike?
people were,
Yeah.
enamored with.
No. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody was enamored with Mike Tyson.
Oh.
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Mike who?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
No.
Born in Brooklyn, raised in North Carolina, third overall pick of the Chicago Bulls. 6 NBA championships.
Yes, but I don't know. No.
But no, he's not universally.
Yeah.
No, he's not. But the reason, and let me tell you, Darren, in the last 15 seconds
You don't
here,
think in his height or his heyday, Mike Tyson, for like a window, like 5 years, everybody thought he was the greatest ever. Everybody loved him, no?
I think the hype train was high. I don't think a lot of people respect it. But I think what happens is in competitive sports, you're always going to have somebody, another camp against you. And even when you're great, they're not going to like you. And I think that's the reason why this happens.
I got one, but unfortunately it's gone south here of late, and he's no longer in that category. Phil Mickelson.
Well, Phil Mickelson wasn't famous on the level of these other people. He's not. I'm not saying he's not a big deal. He was a big deal. But he's not Jordan and Garth Brooks.
Well, he's pretty darn famous.
He's not Tiger. He wasn't Tiger famous.
All right, that'll do it for our show today. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow on Strike and Spare.